Hello, I'm Gracie Wall, and so my literacy autobiography definitely focused mostly when I was in high school, as per part of the requirements. And I focused in my 4 years in high school specifically because, but actually mostly it was the last 2 years. I was lying. Because that is when reading really took off for me on a different level. I think I paid attention more in English class during high school than I had ever paid attention in English before. I always have enjoyed reading, always, always, always. But I was obsessed with the Harry Potter series, and then I didn't branch out too much from that until high school. And then I started reading a lot of young adult fiction, specifically books that had large series because I wanted to stay with the characters. And I think part of my literacy was definitely influenced by being a fast reader. I was always a fast reader, and so I just kept wanting to read because I was good at it. It wasn't hard for me to read. I just was able to do it, and that really helped encourage me to keep reading and to read a lot. And that's why I liked series, because I was able to just go through them. And I read some series that had, like 18 books in it, and I was able to do that within like a couple of weeks. And I mean, they were like 250 pages each, so it wasn't a lot, but it was fun for me because I got to see the characters grow and evolve. And even though, it wasn't the greatest writing of all time, it was definitely a major influence on me because most of the books I read were young adult fiction, so they had a lot of female characters that I could relate to, which is something that Freer, I believe is how you pronounce the author's name, and he sort of talks about that in his article, where when reading, it's imperative that readers take what they're reading and apply it contextually to their own life as well as just the world around them. And I think I definitely did that as a reader and do that as a reader. I'm always inserting myself in the story and thinking of what I would do if I were the main character, or I think about that makes sense that the character's doing that because of these reasons. And I think that that is probably what made me a good reader, is because I was doing that without being taught how to do that. I just did it. It was more of an inherent situation because my parents, while they read, they were not readers the way I was a reader. And they definitely influenced me as a reader because they bought all the books that I wanted to read and got me a library card when they were tired of buying all the books that I wanted to read. But I definitely know that what influenced my literacy the most is my ability to immerse myself in stories and to be completely overwhelmed and let the story take over and just get lost in the story. And I loved that feeling of reading a book and being able to just kind of lose yourself in the characters and just let it all unfold in front of you. Literacy in regards to school, I would say I did not read all of the books that were assigned in high school. No. So I had a situation my junior year in high school. We were assigned to read The Scarlet Letter over winter break. And as a reader, yes, like I can read a book, but it doesn't mean that I'll 100% understand all the themes or the context of the time, which would be very important in The Scarlet Letter, both of those things. And then also meanings and symbols are very important in The Scarlet Letter, and they all went over my head. And so probably less than halfway, maybe halfway through the book, I just gave up. And so did basically everybody else in the junior class, because no one could really grasp what we were supposed to be grasping from the book. There was no guidance from a teacher to read it over winter break. And so the day we got back, we had a multiple choice / short answer exam, and which is insane. And so not everybody did that well. Luckily, I did well as my best friend, because we looked up the Spark Notes and the quiz on Spark Notes. We took it and looked at those questions, and it was the same. So I definitely had a bad taste in my mouth after that situation. It was just too much. So I go into my senior year, I take AP Literature, and my teacher is amazing. She's perfection. We will read Their Eyes Are Watching God, and she goes like paragraph by paragraph, breaking it down for us. She reads it to us. We read it out loud to each other. She has the book on tape. We're getting it from all sides, and it's just beautiful. We all understand it. We all want to read it. And I just think that, having a teacher that goes through step by step in the reading process is imperative to having just literacy in general, and good literacy, and a good attitude towards literacy. And so that is basically my entire essay. I already talked about it. So yeah.